Hello, my name is Jessica Maughan and I'm here today to present my classroom management portfolio. My portfolio was designed for 7th and or 8th grade English language arts classroom, but could also be used in most high school classrooms as well. The first item in my portfolio is a table of contents, and I wanted to include this just so if someone needed a specific page, they would know what page to go to, as well as have a clear outline of everything that will be in the portfolio. So the first thing I have is a diagram of a classroom, then general classroom rules, procedures, consequences, a cooperative group activity, items for a subplan, a parent letter, and a note section. The first item is a diagram of my classroom, and I designed this as if I had a lot of room in my classroom, and what would I do if I had like the biggest classroom I would probably have. And so this is kind of like the dream classroom, or the classroom that has like all of the things. So I wanted to start off with an entry table for when they come in the door, so that this is where they would like pick up assignments, or they would maybe see what we're doing for the day, or this is probably also where like students that have been absent would find their work. So then I have a bookshelf on either side of the whiteboard, and then here I wanted to include a rug so that we can have a learning area and a reading area, so the students can come there to learn their lessons. And also, if we do First Chapter Friday, or if we're going over a classroom novel, we could all come together here. And then next to this, I have a small group area, which would also double as my desk area. And here, I wanted to include this so that I wouldn't necessarily have to come into the student space at their desk to do small groups, and instead I can invite them to my space. I also thought that this would be good if I had groups that needed to spread out more, they could use this table, or if I needed a student that needed to refocus or have some private space, they could come to this table as well. I wanted to include filing cabinets and a bookshelf for my personal items back there. The filing cabinets, I can lock stuff away, such as important student documents or my own personal items that I want locked away. The next thing that I included is here, and this is a reading area / a library area for the students. I wanted to include somewhere that was like inviting and cozy that students could go if they had free time and wanted to read. And so I included a rug and a sofa or futon. I'd probably also have a few like floor pillows and stuff that they could sit on in this area, as well as another bookshelf. So here I have more storage area, and over here is a cabinet and counter space. And here I thought it was important to include this because most classes will have a built-in like cabinet or storage area, and so I wanted to include this here. I also have some bulletin boards over here, and then in the middle I have all my desks. So I just did groupings of 4 for desks, and I thought that it was important to use desks because I figured that's probably what I would most likely have access to in my classroom. And down below, you can see the key for the classroom. So here I just have coordinating numbers with each item so that you can see what they are exactly. Next, I have my classroom rules. And I wanted to make this fun looking and something that I could easily print off and make a poster of. And so I just have Saved by the Classroom rules. And then I have my 6 rules listed out. I wanted them to be short and easy to remember, and something I could be like, do you remember our 6 P's? And we would know all of our rules. So I just have be punctual, be prepared, be productive, be polite, be positive, and be patient. Next, I have my classroom procedures, and this is kind of an in-depth look at my procedures and how they would go in my classroom. This is not an extensive list. There would probably be way more procedures within a classroom, but these are just kind of the important ones that I've written down and will also include in my subplan. So the first one is taking attendance. This is just how I expect my students to come in and how I will take attendance for them. The next thing is beginning of class. So going along the same idea, I have entrance, how I expect them to be entering the room, and what I expect them to be doing once they enter the room until the bell rings, and for about 5 to 10 minutes after the bell rings. Next, I have papers. So this is assignments and how I'm planning on collecting assignments as well as distributing them. So this distribution section is about graded papers as well as handouts or forms or letters or anything that kind of needs to go to the students during each period. Then I have attention. So here's how I'm going to be getting my students' attention in class. I use the Tech doorbell. This way I don't have to be yelling or have some kind of like hand signal and hope that they're all looking at me. And this way it's a sound that we should all be able to hear, and it'll get their attention because it's a sound that they probably won't hear that often. Next, I have materials and equipment. This is just daily supplies, what I expect them to have, what I will provide, as well as special assignment depending supplies. So this is kind of like if we have a craft day or if we're doing some kind of a presentation, the stuff that I will provide and where it will go. Then we have leaving the classroom. So here I just did a section on leaving the classroom for a restroom, as well as leaving the classroom for the library. Both instances, the students will have to put their name on the board as well as the time that they leave. This way I know how long they're gone, and I can notice, oh, they haven't come back yet, and I know exactly who's gone and when they left. Then I have makeup work. So I included this for students that maybe miss a day or they're gone for sports or anything like that. So this is kind of how they will get their daily assignments, as well as how they will take care of tests and quizzes. And then at the end of class, this is how I expect the end of the class to go. I want to be able to check in with my students about 5 minutes before the bell rings. This way I can like check in to see how the lesson went, or let them start to clean up or hand out cell phones if it was a test day. Then I have a section on assignments. These are how I will give instructions and how I expect them to turn in their assignments. Then I have late work. So this is not the same as like missed work if they were absent. This is late work. So if they were not, if they missed turning something in, or if they didn't have it finished, or whatever the reason was, these are kind of my policies on that. Then I have a progress monitoring section, and I divided this into 3 sections. I have progress monitoring for grades, self-monitoring, and class goals. Grades is pretty normal, like grading how I'm going to monitor their progress. Then I have self-monitoring. I want to have my students set up goals in their journals, so this way they can kind of monitor their own goals for the year. And then I also have class goals. So at the beginning of each unit, I want us to sit down as a class and kind of go over what we will learn for the unit and what we expect to be doing by the end of the unit. Then I have a section on cell phones. This is very important, especially in your older grades. This depends largely on the school district or your school and how they want to handle cell phones. But if it was up to me, in my classroom, this is how I would handle cell phones. And I have normal class day versus test and quiz day. Then I have a classroom library section. This was important for me to include because I have so many bookshelves, and I want to have a library that the students can use and they can check them out and they can return them just like a normal library. So I have just things about the agreement that we will have to make at the beginning of the year about checking out books, how they'll check them out, and how they will return them. So the next item in my portfolio is my consequences. And so I just have 10 consequences listed out here. And so these are in the order of the first offense, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Also, if the offense was worse than like tapping a pencil or, talking, if it was like throwing a chair or something, these would obviously be a little different and they would escalate a lot more quickly. So my first one is just tap on a desk. I'll just go by, tap on their desk, let them know that I see them, I know what they're doing, and I wish that they would stop doing what they're doing. The next is a written reminder. I'll just write a note, put it on their desk. Refocus. I'll ask students to go to a refocus area. And then I have individual reminder. So this is just after class, I'm going to ask them to stay back, talk to them a little bit. Immediate reminder. We will go immediately out into the hallway and discuss what is going on. Then I have lunch detention. And depending on your school district, if a student gets lunch detention, there may be a parent contact, but it's kind of up to the district. So the next thing that I have is dealing with parents. So I have parent contact, that just means I'm going to send a note home. Phone a parent, that means after school I'm going to call them and let them know what's going on. Parent conference, that means the parent has to come into the school and we need to talk about what's happening. And the last one is sent to the office. I did this one last so that I could try to handle everything within my classroom and within my students and my parents before we involved an office. So the next thing that I have in my portfolio is my cooperative group activity. And this is just an example of a way that I would use a group activity within my classroom. And I just kind of go through all the directions for it, but basically my activity is dealing with vocabulary. So if we were reading a book such as The Outsiders, there's a lot of odd vocabulary in it that students might not be familiar with, such as cancer sticks meaning cigarettes, or the word greaser meaning a certain group of people in the area. And there's also socius, which are kind of like the counterpart to the greasers. And so here I would just have them get into groups. They would create a Frayer model, and then as a group they would create a big poster for us to use in the classroom. And then this section is all about my substitute binder. So this section has a lot of different components to it, and we'll go through each one. So first, I just wanted to include a little welcome letter for my sub so that they know that I appreciate them and I want them to come back and I hope that they have a good time. And so in here, I've also included kind of a list of what would be in my sub binder. So I have a school schedule, a seating chart, school and staff information, map of the school, emergency situations handout, class rules and procedures. I also will include a form to fill out at the end of each period. If this was a real sub binder that would be in my classroom, there would also be like assignments or materials that the sub may need to use in class. So the first item is a schedule. I just included a bell schedule from a middle school. And so these are each periods as well as the lunch schedule and also a pep rally schedule if this happened to be a pep rally day. Then I have seating charts. So these seating charts, there'd also be probably a class list separate. And then the seating chart would place each student in their seat that they go in. I also numbered them so that it'd be easy to tell like which side of the class I'm looking at when I'm telling you where they sit. And so this just kind of follows the design of my classroom setup. And I did a different one for each period. And then I have VIC. So these are my very important contacts. These are all the numbers that the sub may need to know and or extensions for the in-classroom phone. I did these and I did the office first because I figured most subs would probably call the office if they have a question about schedules or if a student can go to a certain location. I also included the principal's number, assistant principal, and then I did some teachers. So the next door teacher, I thought that was very important. If there was like, a kid's acting up or, they have like an immediate question, they can quickly call them and they can come into the room. I also included 2 other teachers that would be nearby, as well as my own phone number so that they can text me or call me if they have any concerns or any questions. Then I have a map of the school. I would probably also like highlight and label certain areas that would be important for them to know, such as like where the cafeteria is, the office, my classroom, another classroom that the students may need to go to, and other things. This is an emergency handout that I got off of the middle school website. And these are just like the different terms that you would hear over the loudspeaker and what they mean. I would also have a tornado drill and a fire drill like map in the classroom and probably also include them in the sub binder. Then I just have a list of the class rules for the sub, as well as the procedures so they understand how the classroom functions. And if a student says anything, they have something to look back at to make sure that they know what's going on. Then I have this form. So ideally the sub would fill this out after each period so that I would know like how the period went, what assignments or items they might not have gotten to, how my students did, who was like the standout student, who had some struggles, and other notes, so if they have any other little tidbits that they'd like to let me know. Then I have a welcome letter / meet your teacher letter for my parents. And so I just wanted to make this bright and fun and inviting. So I included a photo of myself, and then I just did a little paragraph kind of talking about the class, what we're going to be going over, and also letting them know that I hear your concerns and I would like you to reach out to me if you have any. And then I included a section on my education. So this is kind of just where I graduated from, where I would student teach, how I'm certified, just so the students or the teachers know and the students know a little bit about me. I also included a book list. I mentioned this in this paragraph up here, but these are just kind of the books that we may or may not cover in class. And this way the teachers and the students can kind of get a clear idea of the literature we'll be covering. And if they have any issues with any of these, they can totally reach out to me as a teacher and just let me know oh, I'm concerned about talking about, the animals dying and the red fern grows, or talking about the foster system and One for the Murphys, or whichever it may be they have problems with. I also included a stay in touch section, and here I just wanted to make sure that I gave them my email and my phone number and my classroom website, and this way they could contact me in any of these 3 ways. I also made sure to list my conference time and let them know that I can schedule a conference at any time that would work for them. Next, I have a notes section. And so this section is just kind of other things that didn't fit in the other categories that I wanted to include with my classroom management portfolio. And so for the first thing is my communication skills for teaching. And so here I just go through 3 different communication skills that are constructive assertiveness, empathic responding, and problem solving. And I actually made a whole video on this that I talk about each of those techniques, as well as show some scenarios and how they would work in those scenarios. I included the link to the video as well as a transcript from the video. So this is everything that is said in the video, so that if someone can't use the link or if they don't want to go watch the link, they can just read it all right here. Then the last thing I included was research on strategies. And so here I just have 4 questions about different strategies to use dealing with classroom management within a classroom. And I asked a local teacher their opinion on these and what they do in their classroom. This section can also be added to really easily with doing internet research and adding to this, or interviewing other teachers. In this way, this section I can continue to add to. The notes section also serves as a section that I could add to easily if I wanted to include anything else in my portfolio. And so that's it. This is my classroom management portfolio. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. Bye.